Story 1. The lottery employee at the lottery headquarters. Story 2. A lawyer and a very exclusive, stable investment bank. Then I would probably wait a few months before making any big decisions or buying anything expensive. I would wait and see what I really want or need to do with it. Story 3. I guess no one posted it yet. Story 4. Not a single person. I would immediately open a limited liability company in Delaware so that my identity is confidential. I would claim the lottery under the limited liability company so that it is not traceable. I would live life somewhat normally and help people anonymously. There is too much risk otherwise. Story 5. My partner so he could quit his job and be my full-time snuggle bunny. Story 6. My wife is one of the few people I would tell. Besides her, I would tell my parents and my sister. Probably a few friends as well, but that is it. Story 7. Probably not. And if I did tell anyone, I would not divulge the amount I had won. Win £1 million, give someone £100,000 and you are generous. Win £10 million and give someone £200,000 and you are being tight. Story 8. I am calling everyone I know in the middle of the night to ask them for $5,000, and then I will remember everyone who would not give me the money. Story 9. If we are talking about a jackpot win, I would help my best friend pay off her debts, then pay off mine, and buy a disability-adapted bungalow for her. After that, I would buy a house for myself and my family. No one else would need to know. Story 10. My spouse. That is it. Children and family members will never know either. Story 11. No one but she needs $50,000 for new teeth. If my relatives found out, they would be banging on the front door wanting a handout, and they all own their own houses and are not short of cash. Story 12. Anything over $1 million, the first person I tell is an attorney to protect me and my money. Under that amount, probably my mom. Story 13. The only person I would tell would be my wife. She has always believed in me, been my biggest supporter and best friend. It would make me so happy to be able to travel with her and surprise her with some of the non-essential things we have not been able to afford due to finances being tight over the last 5 to 6 years. Story 14. My friend and his family have money, yet he chose to build his own career and work from the bottom up, even though they would have supported him generously. He has always been kind and generous to me, so I do not see him as a risk. Story 15. I think a more interesting question would be, how long could you keep it a secret? What if that was a requirement? Story 16. I will tell my wife jokingly. She will not believe me and this will be fine. Story 17. After a lot of consideration, believe it or not, my ex-husband understands financial matters better than I do and has connections for legal matters that I lack. And yes, he would receive a portion of whatever it is. I completely trust him not to disclose anything. Story 18. My spouse decided to resign from his job and become my full-time cuddle partner. Story 19. Most likely wife, then lawyer. Assuming it is a sizable amount, my state lets winners set up and claim through a trust, so my name would not be connected to the news. Story 20. My Uncle Sam. I would even give him half because he is so great. Story 21. My chartered accountant, for tax and other professional advice. Maybe my relatives after a year or two. Story 22. I would find the famous Reddit post where the person laid out the perfect plan that everyone agreed was perfect and simply follow it. Story 23. My accountant wants to make sure there is no tax to pay on it, or if there is, how much. Story 24. I would show up to collect the lottery prize in a costume, so no one would recognize me. Then I would call a tax lawyer, a wealth management firm, and an accountant. After that, I would get a car and a new place. Finally, I would tell my boyfriend, probably in person, which would mean flying across the country to him. Story 25. My friend and I can laugh and schedule more meetings together. She works as a financial advisor, and we set up meetings where we basically just hang out. She can claim it's work because I already have a higher net worth than all her clients. So she tells work that she is trying to get me as a client. Story 26. My boyfriend and husband, because I'm the certified talker in the house and they would genuinely never tell anyone. I'm the one that never stops talking and they're like relaxed. I might downplay the earnings so they don't know I bought a cat sanctuary. Story 27. No one. I would just secretly spoil my friends in different ways sometimes. Story 28. Nobody. But I would give my friends a party without telling them. Story 29. I would tell my best friend and sisters after writing checks to pay off their mortgage. The rest goes into a high-yield savings account. Story 30. No one take my payment in weekly or bi-weekly increments and keep it moving. Story 31. No one. Luckily, I live in a state where my name can remain private. Story 32. A lawyer, specifically one who specializes in estate planning. Telling anyone else before consulting a lawyer is just asking for trouble. Story 33. I need to talk to the appropriate person to get my money and ask them to keep it confidential. Story 34. My mom has been dead for 15 years, but I am sure she will be happy for me. Story 35. My mother, for sure. She has been through a lot in her life. I would love nothing more than to show up with champagne and a giant check. Story 36. My mom. I trust her with my life, money, and children. She is not money hungry and would give me good advice. I would open an account for her to keep money since she has given me everything I have ever needed and more. Story 37. Besides the government, it would likely be the liquor store clerk himself. I go to the liquor store often just to buy alcohol, but once in a while I join him in playing Powerball. He has become my friend over the years. We pool our money and buy many numbers. We have an understanding that we both contribute a certain amount and then split the winnings. At the end of the day, neither of us is greedy, and he would likely be the only person I would tell about winning, as he would be a winner too. Story 38. My financial planner, lawyer, accountant, and real estate agent are helping me because I am buying a beach house. Story 39. My cat. I do not talk to people about how much money I have or do not have. Story 40. Every one of my more fortunate relatives who turned their backs on me and my family when we did not have enough money to pay the power bill and had to go 2 weeks without electricity. So I can have the satisfaction of returning the favor when they are down on their luck and need help. Story 41. My husband and then my mother-in-law. She is the most logical and reasonable person I know. Additionally, she is a retired lawyer for one of the largest banks in Canada. Story 42. AskReddit. I would use crowdsourcing to find the best way to spend my money. Alternatively, I could try Wall Street bets. I could probably double my winnings. Story 43. I will probably tell my parents and then get harmed by someone down the street. Story 44. I would tell my best friend that I will buy her a house so she can live stably with her low-functioning autistic son, who is 18 and will need care for life, instead of moving into rentals every 6 months. Story 45. No one except the authorities whom I must inform to claim the money, and possibly an attorney. Story 46. Nobody. The bank will know because the check will go there, and no one else will know until my money is tied up. Story 47. My sister, probably by telling her to meet me at the lawyer's. Story 48. I would tell nobody. Quietly tuck that money away, and you will not have money vultures circling overhead. Story 49. My cat. I would buy him the best food and a new cat tree. Story 50. Definitely a lawyer and then a financial advisor to get a trust set up to accept my winnings. I probably would not even tell my wife until I had everything set up because half the state would know before I could claim the winnings the way she and her family talk. Story 51. 1. Wife. 2. Lawyer. 3. Tax accountant. 4. Never anyone else. Story 52. You should first open several business names in multiple states and countries, and then establish a trust before you collect the winnings from the lottery. Use a lawyer to set all of these up. This will protect your money from those who seek to take advantage of you. Story 53. Lawyer, accountant, refraining from discussing the amount of money. Story 54. Husband first, lawyer second, accountant third, travel agent fourth. Story 55. My wife is the only person I would ever tell, besides a lawyer, accountant, or whoever rich people use to manage their money. I might tell my pets, but maybe not even them because they are all thieves. Story 56. No one. I do not want scammers coming out of the woodwork. Story 57. Not a soul but the lottery officials will know when I collect my money, and then I will disappear after deleting all my social media and canceling my phone number. Story 58. My kids. I raised them as a single mother, and there were times when we really struggled. We had 2 periods when we slept in a car and in hotels. I was working, but we had to keep moving because my ex, who was abusive and also an addict with mental health issues, was stalking us. It was very hard, and they were the only thing that kept me going. I want them to know that they will never have to worry about financial stability again. Story 59. The Nigerian prince who needed a modest loan to return my investment thousandfold once he regained his rightful place. Story 60. My spouse is my partner in crime and also an attorney. Story 61. My cats could pick out a cat enclosure. That would make me happy. Story 62. My poor retail job, so I could quit in the most dramatic way. Story 63. My sister. I know people advise staying low and contacting a lawyer and an accountant. I am just afraid of getting into a car accident or having a heart attack before I submit the ticket. I want my emergency contact, my sister, to know. Story 64. My dad, because he would be able to guide me on how to go about it properly. Then a lawyer and an accountant. Story 65. To my grandmother, because she has been playing bingo for 20 years, as long as I have been alive. Story 66. Since I am a widow without children, I would hire an attorney and an accountant, followed by my sisters. Story 67. My financial planner. Call the office and tell them it is an emergency. Story 68. I would tell a lawyer, a certified public accountant, and my parents in that order. Story 69. I am at a point in my life where I can trust my core friend group of 4 with this information and not have them take advantage of me for money. Story 70. A lawyer and accountant ensure that accounts are properly set up and maintained transparently for the Internal Revenue Service. Other than that, no one would ever know. There is no dramatic work exit or extravagant spending. Story 71. My wife, then my cool grandmother, with whom I made a deal that if either of us won the lottery, we would give the other $1 million. And an accountant. That is about it. Story 72. I can tell you who I am not telling. My mother. Aside from other people saying the obvious like a lawyer, accountant, or financial advisor, I am not sure if I would tell anyone. It would be a tough decision. Now, assuming I did, it would be my partner and best friend, probably in that order. My partner is a very honest person, and I trust her honesty more than I ever thought possible with another human. My best friend is the definition of a loyal friend. He would immediately be my right-hand man, and I probably would not go anywhere without him. After that would be my children. Then everyone else can find out on their own. Story 73. The people who will actually give me the money, then a lawyer and a financial advisor. Story 74. In Germany, you can remain anonymous when you win. There are also official state-sanctioned lottery advisors available. The only person suitable for that information is my brother. Story 75. Financial advisor or lawyer. Obviously, significant other since half is theirs, but outside that bubble are the experts. Story 76. My parents are financially well off and retired. My mom was an investment banker for 20 years. Receiving a large sum of money would not change their actions toward me. They would be the first to start looking into lawyers and ways to set up a trust to protect and grow the money. Also, I am not a tax accountant, but when claiming the lottery ticket, you can assign amounts to be paid out to avoid double taxation. I would make sure that the people I want to give money to, such as my parents, would receive their money upfront as well. I would definitely reach out to large investment firms like JP Morgan and Fidelity to ask about wealth management. However, my mom was an investment banker for 20 years and has taught me well. I would be more interested in how to structure my wealth for tax purposes than because I am afraid of blowing it. Story 77. My wife, followed by my lawyer and my retirement advisor. Story 78. Probably a lawyer, honestly. Get the tax matters figured out. I would then get an accountant. After that, I would tell my girlfriend, and that would be it. There will be signs, but not many people aside from me will know. Story 79. My girlfriend. The first thing I am doing is taking her to meet Taylor Swift in person. Then I am going to buy a bunch of Lego. After that, I will use the remaining money to fund an independent movie and continue to make money from there. Story 80, my grandmother. I would tell her that we can finally leave our abusive living situation. I can get her the best healthcare possible and try to restore her quality of life. In the process, we will never have to struggle to make ends meet again. Story 81, parents, otherwise maybe no one, but there would be signs. Story 82, my husband, because if I just won the lottery, that means we just won the lottery. Woohoo! Story 83, the first person I would tell is my mother. I have a spouse of 8 years, but my mother would be the first one to know. Winning the lottery has always been a someday it will happen kind of thing for her and me. I literally remember being 6 or 5 years old all the way to being a teenager. We would be walking to the store and we would play this game. If I won a certain amount of money, I would give this amount to your father, this amount to my sister or brother, this amount to your brother, and this amount to you. I swear she is manifesting. She would be the first person I would call. I would tell her to pack her bags because we are living now. Story 84. A lawyer, then a financial advisor, then my dad, and that is most likely it. Story 85. Probably my wife. I don't think I could keep that particular poker face, and she reads me way too well. Story 86. My parents are smart and would help me find a lawyer and other necessary assistance. Story 87. My mom. I am giving her a country real estate advertisement and asking her to pick the one she likes. Story 88. Depends on how much it is. My husband comes first, no matter what. Everyone else is on a need-to-know basis. My precious. Story 89. The first person would be the paramedic due to heart arrhythmia from the shock of winning the lottery. Story 90. The lawyer whom I would hire to help me ensure that no one else ever finds out. Story 91. My friend Allie has been my best and most solid friend throughout my life, so I plan on giving her and her family a large sum of money. Story 92. Spouse, lawyer, and that is it. I would start there. I would absolutely not tell any friends or family. Story 93. A friend of mine is going to end her life in 3 months or less. I want her to have the best vacation possible and finally have the car she has always wanted. I assume it would not be from a $3 lottery win. I do not want her to suffer during the time I have left with her. A last vacation would be wonderful or whatever she desires. Story 94. I would tell myself over and over again until I talk to a lawyer. Story 95. My sister, the children, and I would be out of here. Story 96. I am not sure who. Can I tell someone here if I do not have anyone else to tell? Story 97. I would tell my cat, but nobody else for about a month. I have to think long and hard about what I'd like my newly funded life to be like. Once I know what I want to do, I can make some plans. I will immediately bring my cat to the finest veterinarians to ensure the rest of his time on Earth is as healthy and happy as possible. He's around 12 but is still in good shape. Having every possible scan, test, and medical screening will identify issues for treatment or, if necessary, palliative care. If he's not doing well, I will need to bring him somewhere where he can hunt rats until his last day if necessary. He's really good at it and very much enjoys it. I want him to spend the rest of his life doing what he loves most: napping and hunting rats. He's a hardcore predator as well as an adorable, fluffy companion. I would then have a memorial cat shelter named for him and supported by investment earnings. I contact my attorney, followed by my accountant. Once I have a tax plan in place, I'd contact my broker to create tax-appropriate accounts for the assets to be invested. Once the assets are in place along with a budget, I'd start gathering information on certain relatives to see if I want to invest in their futures. If I see someone who can make good use of a fine education or has ambition in a particular area, I'd consider investing. Any with young children will be offered access to the best schooling, and if the offspring show potential, the best colleges they can get into. I'd be happy to fund medical school for every relative with that ambition. It won't be much. Most are not particularly oriented towards academic achievement. If any do stand out, then I want to support that. Then the circle expands to good supportive friends and their children. If any are aging, I'd likely relieve them of debts and put those who are seriously lacking on a lifetime private pension plan. I'd create a foundation to fund it as a research grant. No one would be told about the source of this benevolence unless necessary to get them to accept the help, and they would never be told the size of the fund it comes from. Things would just suddenly improve. Story 98. A tax attorney, financial advisor, and certified public accountant all in the same room together. Story 99. My mother, because she is getting a new house. I love that lady. Story 100. My dad. He would say, the lottery. Yeah, right. So, what else is new? And we'd chat for a bit. Then I would say I really did win. He would give me his lawyer's phone number. Story 101. Nunya. As in, none of your business. I would check out the local library for any copies of An Idiot's Guide to Lotto Winnings. Story 102. Myself to calm me down, then lawyer, then accountant. That is it. Story 103. My identical twin brother. All I'd say is, it's quitting time, baby. Story 104. I say I would not tell anyone until I had protected myself and my winnings. But who am I kidding? I am going to tell everyone. Story 105. No one. I would pack my things, drive, and get myself a nice house or apartment. Story 106. I would not tell anyone. I would pay off my mortgage and all my bills, donate to my favorite charities, deposit the rest in the bank, and act the same. Story 107. My mother deserved half of my winnings. This is all for her. Story 108. My mom. I need to tell her that our problems are solved. Story 109. My lawyer and I would ask them to recommend a good financial advisor. Story 110. A tax lawyer I retained before saying a single word. Story 111. The guy I love. I am buying his child the boat he wants. Laughing out loud. Story 112. My bank so they do not think it is fraudulent money or something. Then my best friend and mom, then financial advisor. I would probably keep it within that small circle because I do not think it would be a good idea to let that information spread beyond that. Story 113. My husband, then my son-in-law, is skilled with numbers, percentages, tax amounts, and he can keep a secret. Story 114. I am single, so I would contact an attorney who specializes in trusts and estates. I also have grown children and grandchildren. Story 115. The only people I would tell are myself and I. If you win that and tell anyone, you will have friends and family you never knew before. Story 116. My father has never been in good shape regarding finances, and my dream is to take all of his financial worries away. I am slowly getting there though. Story 117. My wife, with the clear preface that no one else, not our parents, siblings, or children, are told. Story 118. My parents are wealthy and know they would receive a substantial amount of money. They are nearly 80 years old and do not worry about wealth, as they already have it. They would connect me with the professionals I need to speak with, such as lawyers and financial managers. I am very fortunate. My parents are incredible people. Story 119. My boyfriend and I have a long-standing verbal agreement to split any lottery winnings between us 50-50, regardless of who buys the ticket. Story 120. Lawyer, wife, man who cashed it, then father. Mother does not get to know, and she knows she does not get to know. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.